Can you imagine waking up in the morning and seeing a toucan eating a papaya from a tree right outside your bedroom window? Or using a machete to chop down a banana tree to cook bananas for the day's meal? These are just a few things I experienced while living for a month on a family farm in Ecuador, where I learned that life in rural South America is very different from daily life here in North Carolina in many different respects. My name is Mary Ellen Pierce, and I am a senior at UNC Chapel Hill. I spent the fall semester of my junior year studying in Ecuador. During the 4 months that I spent in Ecuador, I had the chance to visit many different places and meet many interesting people. But my fondest memories will always be of the month I spent in a tiny town called Santa Rosa de Pacto, and the wonderful friends that I met in this community. During my time in Santa Rosa, I lived with a couple named Myra and Benicio and their daughter Amy. I felt truly welcomed into their home and was fortunate to live with such a generous, hospitable family. Despite their lack of material wealth, I was blown away by their generosity and willingness to share all that they had with me. Ecuador is a small country nestled between Colombia and Peru in South America. Santa Rosa is located in the north of the Pichincha province, along the border with the Imbabura province. From the front door of the house I lived in, I could see across the Guayabamba River to Imbabura. Santa Rosa is a tiny town. The town consists of 8 houses encircling a soccer field and volleyball court. Soccer and volleyball are 2 of the most popular sports and favorite pastimes in this community. The town also has a small Catholic church, since 95% of Ecuadorians are Catholic. Because the town is so small, there is no priest who lives nearby, so Mass only happens a few times each year. Still, on Saturdays, an elder from the town teaches catechism classes to the children and youth so that they have the chance to learn about Catholicism. For the residents of Santa Rosa, buying groceries is certainly different than the experience that we are all accustomed to. In the countryside of Ecuador, there are no large supermarkets, but instead small food stores called tiendas. In Santa Rosa, the Ortega family has a tiny tienda in the front room of their home, which sells a very limited selection of basic staples such as sugar and rice, as well as treats such as homemade popsicles and homemade ice cream. This picture shows me standing on the front porch of the Ortega's house with the small tienda. To purchase more food items, most Santa Rosa residents travel to Pacto, a larger town about 2 hours away. Pacto has bigger tiendas with a wider selection of staple foods and a farmer's market that sells fruits and vegetables. Pacto is nearly a 2-hour truck ride away from Santa Rosa, so people only go shopping once a week on Sundays. On Sundays, I visited Pacto with my family. Because my family did not have a car, we rode in the back of a neighbor's pickup truck. As we were jostled around in the back of the pickup on the bumpy, narrow, unpaved road, I was reminded of how often at home I take for granted how easy it is just to hop in the car and be at a huge supermarket 5 minutes later. The contrast between the convenience of a 5-minute drive and the challenge of a bumpy 2-hour ride was striking. Cars and trucks are very uncommon in Santa Rosa. Only 2 families in the entire town own trucks. Instead, the majority of the community relies upon motorcycles, horses, and walking as the primary modes of transportation. It is not unusual to see boys as young as 13 and 14 driving motos, though it is uncommon to see women driving. When community members need to travel longer distances, they take the ranchera, which costs about $2 per ride. People just hop in the back and throw their luggage on top. In addition to the food purchased at tiendas and at the Pacto market, many families grow a large amount of the food that they consume. Platanos, which in English are called bananas, are one important crop. Bananas grow in bunches on pseudostems, which can only produce fruit once. So the entire stem must be chopped down using a machete when a family needs bananas. My family's house was surrounded by banana trees, so clearly we ate them a lot. Yuca, which is also called cassava or manioc, is another staple in the diet of Santa Rosa residents. Yuca is a root crop and is one of the most important sources of carbohydrates in many Latin American nations, where potatoes and cereals do not grow. Cacao is another crop grown in Santa Rosa. The beans inside the cacao pod are used to make chocolate. Many interesting tropical fruits grow in Santa Rosa's tropical climate. This picture shows a wide assortment of the fruits grown in Santa Rosa. One of community members' favorite fruits is the jaca, which I had never seen or tasted before. Jaca is very large and is often shared between many friends. Farming is the livelihood for the majority of Santa Rosa's residents. Additionally, some community members harvest timber and raise cattle, both of which bring in more income than farming. Most of Santa Rosa's residents have no more than a 6th grade education. The town has an elementary school, but no middle or high school. So the youth either stop attending school after 6th grade or must move in with relatives in a larger town in order to continue their education. Santa Rosa's school is a one-room schoolhouse with only 1 teacher and 12 students. Despite the school's limited resources, the schoolhouse does have a computer, and computing class is one of the students' favorite subjects. During the month I spent in Santa Rosa, I was constantly reminded of the differences between my lifestyle at home in the United States and the lifestyle in rural Ecuador. At the same time, I was also reminded that despite these differences, we as humans have a great capacity to make connections and build relationships. I will always be grateful to the residents of Santa Rosa for welcoming me with open arms and open hearts into their community.